You think someone is on your side. You think the people around you, the ones who smile at you, touch your shoulder, wish you good luck, genuinely care about your journey. But dear Sagittarius, what you don't know is there are two people secretly working together, not to support you, but to control the path of freedom you thought you were holding. There is a trap being set, not to destroy you immediately, but to test. Have you grown enough to recognize who is wearing a mask? And if your heart just tightened, if you suddenly remembered a pair of eyes that made you feel unsafe without knowing why, then this video did not reach you by coincidence. I'm not here as a prophet. I come as a mirror, so you can see the truth that has always been there inside you. And today, I am not speaking to you as a prophet or someone who knows more. I am speaking to the deepest part of you, where your Sagittarius soul still struggles between two things: trusting others and guarding your own light. In this video, I make 3 promises to you. First, I will show you who are the two people setting you up. You may know them, you may never have suspected them, but after today, you will see more clearly. Second, I will explain why you, a Sagittarius, are the one being targeted. Why you, out of millions, are the one they choose to manipulate. Third, I will lead you to a truth within your own birth chart. What energy Jupiter gave you that made your light so strong that those living in darkness cannot bear its presence. If you have the patience to listen all the way to the end of this video, I will reveal to you a sacred gift from the universe. A gift not for the faint-hearted, but for those brave enough to walk through the shadows and step into the light. If you feel that these words are speaking to something hidden deep inside your heart, if you find yourself in a foggy season of life, not knowing who is truly you and who is quietly leading you off your path, pause just for a moment and leave a comment under this video. I am not trapped, I have been awakened. Because that is not just a personal affirmation. It is your declaration to the universe that you, a Sagittarius, are ready to rise above every scheme, every form of control, every psychological game, to become exactly who your soul was created to be. And if you feel this video offers something worth reflecting on, please drop a like, share it, because you never know how many Sagittarius souls out there are going through the same thing and still believe they are the only ones. One small action from you could be the wake-up call for someone who's trapped just like you once were. Dear Sagittarius, you are not someone who falls easily. But because you are strong, you are often the one tested the most. Because you are honest, you are often the first to be doubted. Because you live with truth, those who live in falsehood will always try to dim you. This is your moment to awaken, not to fight, but to stand in the light, and remember that you are not alone. In the next part, we will explore why you, a Sagittarius soul, became the target of a setup. Why others seem to go through life in peace while you are constantly pulled into cycles of doubt, manipulation, and betrayal. And what it is in your astrological and spiritual nature that made you Thor, the one they could not control. Steady your heartbeat, because the next part is when the first mask begins to fall. There's a truth few dare to speak aloud. Light does not only attract those searching for their path. Light also makes those living in darkness deeply uncomfortable. And you, Sagittarius, are the most vivid embodiment of that light. According to classical astrology, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of faith, truth, and expansion. This means you were born with a soul that roams, but shines. You are not bound by prejudice, you do not compromise with falsehood, and you do not stop at the limits others place upon themselves. To you, life is not a checklist of doing things right. It is a journey of living truthfully, of discovering, of reaching beyond what has already been known. And for that reason, you are a problem to those who crave power. You are a threat to those who live a lie. You are a system breaker, in the eyes of those trying to keep you trapped inside a circle of limits. Many believe that light is always lovely, always welcomed. But light, when it shines into darkness, reveals what others don't want to see. And that is exactly what you, dear Sagittarius, been doing. Whether by accident or by fate, you don't live to expose anyone, but the truth you carry, the blunt honesty that doesn't know how to lie, and the courage to walk away from where your soul no longer belongs, all of it becomes a mirror, one that reflects back to others, how small, how limited, and how inauthentic they've become. They don't blame you. They can't blame themselves. So they choose to trap you, to stop you, silence you, or lure you back to the path you've already outgrown. I've read thousands of birth charts, spoken with thousands of souls, and I say this to you with sincerity and reverence. Sagittarius is tested through betrayal, not because they are weak, but because they are so strong, others can't handle it. The universe always places Sagittarius in situations where they must learn to trust themselves when no one else does, to keep walking when those they love the most turn their backs, and to forgive when the ones they gave their hearts to are the ones who set the trap. I've met Sagittarians who lost everything: family, reputation, money. But they never lost one thing: the fire within. And that is why they become a target. When you discover the trap, when you realize someone has been manipulating you, don't panic. Don't think it means you're foolish or naive. The trap didn't come to destroy you. It came as a test. Have you seen the truth yet? Are you ready to release those who no longer belong in your story? Only when you do, will you be clean enough, awake enough, to step into the new chapter God has prepared for you. A place others cannot reach. A promise only deeply wounded souls can truly understand. Have you ever felt like someone close to you, someone who always seemed trustworthy, somehow made you question your own intuition? Have you ever woken in the still of night, not out of fear, but because your inner knowing was screaming, something's not right? That wasn't a hallucination. That was your intuition. A gift God gives only to the strongest souls. And if you've ever felt that way, don't ignore it, because your soul has already sensed what your mind is still denying. Not because you're naive, not because you're too trusting, but because you, dear Sagittarius, carry three things they can't control. Inner freedom. You are not imprisoned by praise or criticism. Truth in your words. You struggle to fake what isn't real. Vision. You see what others are desperately trying to hide. To those with hidden motives, these three things are a threat. If you're still here and a certain face is surfacing in your mind, someone you once admired, once trusted, but now something feels off, leave a comment. I am ready to see the truth, even if it hurts. Because being honest with yourself is the first step to breaking every invisible trap. In many Sagittarius charts, Saturn or Pluto form harsh aspects to the ascendant or the seventh house, the domains of relationships and open enemies. This shows you're not easily fooled by obvious actions. They have to use emotions, memories, and familiarity to strike at the trust you've placed in them. But when Jupiter, your ruling planet, shines again, the truth will begin to unravel. You don't need to expose anyone, just stand still in your light, and the masks will fall on their own. So then, who are the two people quietly setting you up? In the next section, I'll reveal the two most common types. One enters your life like a sibling, someone you never imagined would hurt you, and the other appears like a savior, someone who seems to help you, but is actually keeping you stuck in a lower frequency. Who are they? And how can you recognize them through their eyes, their words, and the energy they bring into your space? Keep listening, because what you're about to learn may be the most important truth of your entire year. Here's a strange truth about spiritual life. The one who pushes you off the cliff isn't always someone you hate, and the deepest pain doesn't always come from a stranger. If you've ever gone through a phase where you couldn't understand why someone you loved suddenly began to feel different, then it's very likely your birth chart is speaking to you. In astrology, there are two houses that often reveal the masked ones in our lives. The seventh house, which governs lovers, partners, close bonds, and also public enemies. And the 12th house, which hides the silent enemies. Those who never attack you openly, but secretly hope for your downfall. Both of these houses are especially important for Sagittarius, because you are a fire sign, always trusting, always generous, and therefore often the one most vulnerable to betrayal by those who take advantage of your sincerity. There's a powerful astrological phenomenon. When Mercury goes retrograde, or when the moon transits Sagittarius, many truths begin to rise from the unconscious. You might start to hear old words with new ears. You might begin to look into someone's eyes and realize the light that used to be there is gone. And then your heart cracks open, not from disappointment, but from the realization you've been closing your eyes for too long. The first person is someone once very close to you, a best friend, a former lover, or someone in your family. They know your emotional wounds. They know your fear of abandonment, your fear of losing connection, your fear of being alone. And sometimes they use those exact fears to keep you tied to a bond that no longer nourishes your soul. They are not evil. They're just afraid. Afraid that if you step into your truth, they will lose control over you. The second person is someone you would never suspect. They appear cheerful, respectful. They often compliment you, especially in front of others. But inside, they harbor a slow-burning jealousy. Why? Because you dare to be real. You dare to walk away from what no longer fits. You carry light, and your light exposes the falseness they're trying to maintain. This person could be a colleague, a relative, a member of your community, or someone who once admired you, but now resents you because you've begun to shine. You are entering a new cycle, one where Jupiter, your ruling planet, is expanding your energy. This means opportunities, awakened talents, sharper intuition. And most importantly, you begin to see what you once chose to ignore. But that new light, not everyone can handle it. The people who were comfortable with the old you now feel threatened. They don't understand. Why are you walking away? Why don't you need them to feel whole anymore? So they resist, in subtle ways. They make you doubt yourself. They stir division behind your back. They dismiss your victories as luck or timing. A Sagittarius woman once told me she had a cousin very close to her. This cousin was always there for key moments. She praised her for having a kind heart. She warned her, don't dream too big. But when she started a small bookstore and it succeeded, that cousin began making quiet remarks like, she probably just met some VIP customers, or someone must be backing her up behind the scenes. She wasn't hurt by the words. She was hurt by the realization that even love sometimes comes with conditions, and the light within her had made someone who once loved her feel out of place. Then she understood, not everyone who walks with you at the start wants to see you soar. The truth is, sometimes it's the people we love most who hold us back the hardest. Not because they're bad, but because they're afraid of losing you. And sometimes they never learned how to love without control. Dear Sagittarius, you don't need to blame them, but you also don't need to stay while they keep tying your soul with ropes made of familiarity. Letting go is sometimes the most loving act you can give to both of you. Have you ever sat alone and remembered someone you once believed was your forever, and then they were the one who pushed you away when you needed them the most? Don't feel ashamed for trusting. Trust is a gift. If someone didn't know how to hold it, that's their lesson. If you knew when to let go, that's your growth. If someone just came to mind, someone who still makes your heart ache when you remember, someone who once made you smile, then shattered you, comment this: I have seen it. I forgive. I move forward. Let that be your declaration to the universe, that you are ready to walk away from every invisible chain. But the bigger question is, what will you do now that you know who they are? Will you speak out? Or will you walk away in silence? Will you seek revenge? Or turn pain into a prayer to protect yourself instead? In the next part, I will show you how Sagittarius rises again, not through anger, but through a fire that no one can put out. Clarity, forged from pain. You've come this far, through doubt, through heartbreak, through betrayal, and still kept the light in your heart, and that is what makes you different. When you're deceived, they tell you to be strong. When you're betrayed, they tell you to forgive. But rarely does anyone tell you the most important thing, that you, a Sagittarius, don't need to pretend to be strong, because you already are the fire. That flame doesn't need anyone to hold it for you. It only needs to be recognized. You're not like other signs. You weren't born to please. You came to remind this world, truth can hurt, but it's falsehood that kills the soul. You carry the flame of truth, and no one can put it out. Not because it's too big, but because it comes from God, from the most sacred part inside you. Maybe you've fallen before. Maybe you didn't want to go on. Maybe you once said, I can't take this anymore. But you're still here, listening to these words, with a heart that may have cracked, but never lost its resonance with the truth. That's proof. The Sagittarius soul does not belong to traps. It belongs to the sky. You were born to fly, even if your wings have once been pierced. In your birth chart, look for Saturn. Wherever Saturn is placed, that's the wound you've carried across lifetimes, but also the place where you'll become the most unshakable. If Saturn is in your 7th house, you'll learn the limits of love. If it's in the 12th, you'll learn to release what cannot be controlled. If Saturn is in aspect to the moon, you'll learn how to heal yourself, even when the whole world turns away. Saturn doesn't bring gifts, it brings refinement. And souls like Sagittarius are often chosen to learn that lesson earlier than others. Think back. Have you noticed the recent shifts? Relationships ending suddenly. People you once leaned on, slowly stepping away. Things you thought were forever, dissolving before your eyes. Don't be heartbroken. This isn't loss. It's purification. Every eclipse season, especially when it aligns with Sagittarius, is a time when the universe detoxifies your soul, cleansing away connections that no longer nourish you. Cleansing away old emotions and illusions you once held onto as safety. Perhaps the hardest lesson in life is letting go without resentment. To understand that the one who hurt you was sometimes just an instrument the universe used to teach you something. The one who trapped you was not your enemy. They were the mirror that showed you the final edge of your blind trust. And from there, you chose again, more consciously, more wisely, and with more love for yourself. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to walk in your direction. And sometimes, what you need most is not another person beside you, but the light that comes from within you. You don't need anyone else to make you whole. You just need to sit quietly and ask your soul, where did I leave myself behind? And if you're brave enough to listen, you'll find you never lost your light. It's just been waiting for you to come home. If you're still listening, and it feels like these words are touching something you've never dared to speak aloud, write this. I've been hurt, but I did not break. Let that sentence become your new light, not just to help you see the path, but to help others, those walking through the same darkness you've survived. Realize they are not alone. They thought you would seek revenge, but you chose silence. They thought you would crumble, but you chose to rewrite your life in a new chapter, quietly, without needing to prove anything. That is how Sagittarius moves forward, not to impress, but because stopping is never an option. And then, something strange begins to happen. When you walk away from the trap, when you no longer hold on to what's already broken, a gift begins to reveal itself. Something you never thought you were worthy of. Something not given because you are perfect, but because you are honest with the most painful parts of your journey. In the next part, I'll share the soul connection blessing for Sagittarius, a sacred gift that only appears after the deepest pain. Don't leave this journey now. You're about to step into the most sacred part of your life. There's something only the souls who've lost the most can truly understand. The greatest gifts in life always arrive after a pain you cannot explain. I know. Why does everyone leave me? Why do I always have to carry the weight, walk alone? You've looked up at the sky, not to pray, but to search for a sign that says you are still seen. And today I'm here, not to explain your pain, but to remind you of a truth your heart has always known. You are not abandoned. You are being set apart, because something sacred is waiting for you. He does not do this among the crowds. He doesn't shout. He's not loud. He chooses you and pulls you aside to a place where it's just you and you. And in that place, where you feel the most alone, where you think you've been forgotten, he is actually preparing you for a role that no one else could carry. Have you ever felt someone slowly drifting away without reason? Someone once so close suddenly turning cold? Relationships you thought would last forever, going quiet without warning? If so, please believe me, this is not the end. This is a sacred step back, so you can be prepared for a soul leap. It's not about money, fame, or any miracle outside of you. This gift is a remembrance, a restoration of your soul, a new position that can only be received once you've let go of the old. You will remember what you once dreamed of, what you once believed in, who you were before someone made you forget yourself. If you've been having recurring dreams of leaving an old room or walking into a forest, if you've been seeing the image of a horse, the sacred symbol of Sagittarius, if your intuition feels louder than ever, sensing something shifting without a name, Then know this, you are very close, so very close to that gift. It doesn't come with logic. It doesn't argue. It only brushes against you, then steps back to see if you trust yourself. And if you are still listening to me, and your heart feels at peace, then I ask you, do not turn back. Those who hurt you, those who made you cry, they came to cut away a part of you that no longer belongs. The part that depended, the part that feared change, the part that felt too small. And when they left, you thought you lost something. But truly, you gained space for the light to enter. I once met a Sagittarius woman. She had been with her husband for 14 years. When he left without a word, she almost collapsed. But just 1 year later, she wrote, "If he hadn't left, I never would have learned how to love myself. If he hadn't walked away, I would have never seen the light in me, the light I kept searching for in others." Now she helps thousands heal, not through theories, but through her own scars. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. You are not being stripped away, you are being made empty so you can receive more. You are not lost, you are being led to a place where your soul will finally be heard. Have you ever felt like something or someone was pulling you away from a relationship, a job, a familiar place? You couldn't explain it, but you knew, I can't stay anymore. If yes, comment below. I am ready to receive the sacred gift. Not for me to read, but so your soul can hear itself. So the universe knows you've said yes, yes, to step into a new chapter where you no longer force yourself to be anyone, no longer please anyone, no longer cage yourself in what feels safe. You, a Sagittarius, are turning to a gift that God planted inside you long before you were born. And now, after walking through the trap, after unmasking the face behind the familiar, after surviving the soul's longest night, and after all of it, when you've forgiven, not to forget, but to free yourself, when you no longer fight to be understood, but quietly walk in the light of your soul, that is when a new gate will open. In the final part, I will help you reflect on the 3 great lessons and reveal something deeper still. The gift is not just protection, but a soul talent, waiting to be awakened within you. And now, as you reach the end of this journey with me, I want you to pause, not to look back, but to breathe deeply and acknowledge you've made it through something enormous, not out there, but within you. You were not fooled. You are not weak. You are not too trusting to be blamed. You are simply a soul that awakened too early, in a world still asleep. You were chosen to see the truth before others dared to open their eyes. And that is lonely. But it is also sacred. True freedom is not about running from someone. It's about standing firm when you know exactly who's been trying to control you, and still choosing not to fight with hatred. You stand firm, with clarity, with gratitude for what's past, and with a faith that says you are not walking alone. Thank you, Sagittarius soul, for walking through trials no one saw, for crying in silence when no one understood, for refusing to stay silent when truth needed to be defended. You don't need anyone to take your side, because your light is all you need to carry. And if this video stirred something in you, an old sadness, a memory without a name, a truth you've been avoiding, then let your next action be a declaration to the universe. Comment, I was not trapped, I was chosen to lead. Not because you need validation, but because your soul deserves to rise and say aloud, you are awakened, you've stepped out of the invisible trap, and you've returned to yourself. Share this video, not just to spread the light, but as a vow that from today on, you will no longer let anyone cut off your connection with your own soul. Because someone out there is waiting for a whisper to realize the trap they're in. Someone out there is searching for a light, to know they are not alone. Sharing is how you spread awakening, is how you keep another soul from falling. And if you're still wondering, is there still a gift left for me in this life? Then listen to this line. Not with your ears, but with your heart. That gift is you. When you dare to live truthfully, to look pain in the eye, and to walk forward with a faith that never left. In the next video, I'll reveal something even deeper. A soul talent that's been asleep within you since a past life will begin to awaken once you dare to let go of what no longer aligns. A healing gift, not from books, but from your very wounds. And finally, as a sacred ritual, if you're still here, place your hand over your heart. Close your eyes for a few seconds and whisper with me, I am the light, I have returned.